All of the electrical is finally done, and over the past few days, me and Luke have been working through getting all the floors kind of re-riveted. There it is. Oh, there's one. In there. I even know you already put it there. Yeah, that's fine. Two. All right, more. What we've been doing is, on this particular bus, a lot of the holes that were already here are actually on the frame rails, and when we pulled the screws out in the floor, it actually took the screws out of what was keeping the metal attached to the frame. So we're going back through and we're actually putting rivets back in all the holes and sealing back down the floors. Luke also did an amazing job and started the fiberglass up top. So we're re-fiberglassing these holes shut so that they will no longer be used.
Go about 2 or 3 inches around where you're applying. Get her soaked. Your first piece. Again, cover it about 2 or 3 inches around for some integrity. And soak her in. Take a blade just to keep it flat. Tighten all your edges.
So there's definitely a little bit more that needs to be done. We still need to be able to sand and make these flush, but this job's at least started. And all the electrical at this point is officially tied up. So I got all the brake lines in, all of the different wiring. You can kind of see it right here. We got it all down just to 5 wires, which is pretty awesome. But the mission of the day is to get ready for metal. So the metal is gonna be picked up tomorrow, and that means we wanna be ready for it and in shape so that we can keep moving forward. So today's pretty much gonna be ripping out the emergency hatches, doing a lot of the metal prep to get in the right direction, finish the floors, and I think we're gonna be taking this front grill off and stuff because we wanna repaint this and clean it up, make all this look nice in the future. If you haven't seen my previous videos, one thing with this bus build is we're starting on the outside, we're water sealing it, we're getting it all prepped and ready to go, and then we're gonna move to the inside and actually do construction. So it's outside, then inside, and we're gonna get moving, but...
You know what the most important job of the day is?
What's the most important job of the day, Luke?
Have fun.
To have fun. That's right. And honestly, every day on a bus build and hanging out with this guy on the bus build, we have a good bit of fun.
Could be a lot worse things.
I'm gonna get to ripping that whole front grill out, and Luke's finishing up these floors, and we're gonna get moving on the day and get ready for metal. All right, so the front grill is officially off, and once again, we're still in that process of like, let's just take this bus down to the frame. But now that it is completely off, we're gonna get it prepped and painted so that we can put it back on, of course. But I know I've said this before in videos, but I just wanna say it again because it is super important. Make sure when you take these things off, you put all the different screws that you took out back in their locations. The reason why you wanna do this is because you won't lose them. So now they're in the right spot. I'll go paint that, prep it, sand it, and when I come to reinstall it, all the screws that I need are already in the correct locations, and I don't have to go through a bag or guess or anything. So if you can, try to put them in the right locations, but if you lose these things, you're gonna be so frustrated trying to find the correct bolt and trying to get it all done. But now I gotta figure out how to get this front bumper off, and then the entire front will be completely exposed, and we can get it painted, primed, and then start doing our reinstall.
I think we should just leave the grill off.
Just leave the grill off?
Looks nice.
Dude, I think we should just leave it completely gutted.
It's a very unique look.
I didn't know we were doing a build series about putting it back together. I thought we were just taking it apart.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Well, it's been an hour.
Why has the bus got such a sad face?
I think she looks good.
I'm just happy that this thing is completely exposed, and one thing that I'm also going to do at this point is clean the engine. It's a lot easier to clean, use the proper products, keep the electrical safe by doing the cleaning now while it's all gutted. So this engine bay, it's not super dirty, but there's definitely, like, 15 years of grime and dirt in here. So I'm going to get a good vacuum, a couple good brushes, some towels, some microfiber towels, give this thing a nice quick clean. And we're gonna get the grill and the bumper painted and then reinstall it all. I think we've got like 3 or 4 more things on the list to like deconstruct. And then pretty much we're starting to build back from there. So it's a good feeling to know that we almost got a great foundation.
To fit these guys.
Well, I'm taking the front grill off. Luke actually just finished up the floors and doing all the sealing as far as we need to go at this moment. I am gonna be going down and welding all these holes. We're gonna weld all the big ones shut. All the ones that went into support beams are riveted back down so that the floor is back and solid. But now we're gonna be pulling out these emergency hatches because we're gonna be re-sheet metaling them. So at this point, Luke is gonna start taking all the screws out. We've already gotten the inside casing out, but at this point, we gotta just go around the outside and take all these screws out. Once all those out, this thing's just gonna pop off. It's just held down by a bunch of caulk. And I'm gonna see if this fits. Thanks, Luke. I'm not gonna tell him that it's perfect. I'm just not gonna tell him. This thing right here, this guy, it's actually just a vent for the roof. So it allows airflow into the insulation to let it kind of dry out, make sure that nothing stays too wet, because the last thing you want is once moisture gets in for it to stay. So either you need to have a complete vapor seal to keep the moisture from coming in, or you gotta have a way for it to vent just like in a house attic. We don't need it anymore because we're gonna be spray foaming and we're gonna be doing a complete vapor seal on the entire bus. So we're gonna be pulling this out. It's not longer needed, and I'll show you what it looks like from the inside. Oh, note to self, don't stick to caulk. So it's this hole right here. Most of the buses out there, you're gonna find one of these somewhere in the front of the bus. You don't really need it unless you're gonna be needing ventilation within your roof cavities. It's a really simple pull out, just a couple screws, rip it up, and then what we're gonna be doing most likely in the next video is gonna be actually sheet metaling all of those off and riveting back patches so that they're no longer an issue. I'm gonna get us some welding because we gotta start getting this bodywork put back together. We're not putting the bubble mirrors back in, so I gotta patch all these holes that used to be for the mirrors. So I'm just about to get all of the holes prepped and ready to start welding. One thing that I just want to share, because I know I made this mistake on my first bus, and it's a really simple mistake to make, but anytime you're welding or grinding, protect the glass in the area that you're working in, because when I was building that bus, I didn't realize it, and I started grinding in the back of the bus, and the sparks actually flew all the way to the front of the bus, hit the front windshield, and actually there's scar spots where the sparks actually hit the windshield and scarred the glass. It's not super noticeable if you were to go in that bus, but it's just something that really annoys me because I can see it and I just know it's there, and it was a stupid mistake. I know. So when you're welding or you're doing any type of grinding, make sure you protect the glass of where you're working because you don't want to get sparks in the wrong spot. How's it going up there, Luke?
Oh, just dandy. Prefer to be on the roof than under the bus.
He wants to be on top of the roof instead of under the bus. I'm usually the one who gets thrown under the bus. I go there willingly though. And one thing that Luke's currently doing is he's finishing kind of doing our final sand on the Bondo here, making sure it's as smooth and perfect as possible. And then he's actually beginning to prime. He's getting that whole thing started. I do foresee that there's gonna be a bit of work within the priming to kind of really get it to a good kind of clean flat side. But just imagine, once we get all this prep work done, it's literally gonna get painted in like an hour, and then all the windows are gonna go back in, and it's gonna be like all of a sudden back to a pretty, you know, solid looking bus. But overall, we are on the right track right now. And if anyone's wondering, yes, we are priming the bus with spray cans. The reason is because when we actually get to doing the whole thing, I'm actually gonna do a video about kind of the cost difference and work difference between doing it with spray cans and then actually just renting or using more of a spray method, and what might be best for spraying your bus, because that bus right there, I actually hand painted with a brush. So let's look at the difference between them. So that's coming up in the future. So if anyone sees us using spray cans, don't worry about it, because we're gonna be getting to all that in a future video. Just so happy with how smooth the side is. Just, he loves the bus. I don't know if you can actually see it. Nah, you can't see it. But there's a back plate in here. We welded it in, covered up all the holes, sanded it all down, and now we're getting it all smooth. So eventually we're gonna let that dry and get, you know, get it all sanded down, make it all smooth. But now I gotta come over to this side. I gotta fix these holes. Someone decided to drive into something at some point. We'll fix that, and then get these all plugged up. But not too much. I mean, the front cab part of this bus is actually in pretty good shape, but I gotta get to that side and start welding. We just got this side done. So what I have to do is I'm patching all these little holes. So I had to cut a little insert and then kind of weld it in. So now I gotta kind of grind down the welds a little bit, get it nice and smooth. But we gotta, it takes quite a bit of work to get all these things done. This side of the bus is actually already pretty much done. So we've got our sand on. We've got this part all done, nice and smooth. But once I finish that, I gotta fill in these holes then. So we got this one and that one I gotta tack weld in. And it definitely takes a lot of time to get that piece to fit right in that circle perfectly with just enough of a little bit of a groove to get the weld in there and make it nice and smooth. But it is, oh, it's gonna be so excited when this is all fixed. We got the dent out. It's so nice when it starts coming together, especially when we have this side of the bus getting primed and sanded down. Ah, man, look at this difference right here. Woohoo! All right, so Bondo is officially on, and now it is just time to wait. Number one thing to Bondo that I've learned, and other people have told me, is once you put it on, don't play with it. Just don't put too much on. Don't play with it, because what happens is you start making lines, start making creases, and then you just end up having to do a second coat that's just totally unnecessary. So put it on there, let it sit. and come back and give it a sand. So this side is now bondoed, and this side is pretty much, ooh, super bright. And this side is completely smooth and ready for some glaze putty to fill in some of the bubble gaps and stuff. And then pretty much at that point, get this thing kind of sanded and primed up so we can start moving forward with all of this. But it's a good feeling to start getting all these holes and things kind of figured out, because it's gonna be so nice when this thing gets painted to be like, I know it was a lot of work, but it was totally worth it. This video was definitely a good bit of tedious work, detailed work, welding, bondo, paint, and just prep work by pulling out these roof hatches and other odds and ends. But honestly, after editing this video, I realized that this is a perfect representation of a bus build, because you know, I can just show the highlights and the big things that are gonna kind of wow the big change and the paint and the, you know, putting the spray foam in. But the truth is most days we're doing tedious work. We're doing the little things that no one will ever see. But that's what the project is, and that's what is the fun part about it. I would like to say that if you find this video helpful, and even just the entire build series, consider joining our Patreon account down below. And I just want to thank everyone who's already joined on over there and just supporting this channel and the growth and videos that we're producing. Also, if you're interested, there's affiliate links down there for all the products we use throughout our build. So if you're interested in checking out those, you can click one of those and check out the products. Do know that they are affiliate links, so that if you do click them, we are going to receive a commission because we are bringing you to the sale, but feel no reason to actually buy something. They are resources for you. But I hope you found this video helpful, and next time we're going to be doing window deletes, which are already actually started, and installing a bunch of metal. So, hope we'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.